The date is Sunday, the 7th of April, 2024. And as of this current moment, I am 1,451 days, 7 hours, 15 minutes and 31 seconds sober from alcohol. Except this information is no longer current. Not in this moment right here, not in your moment out there as you stare at your screen. I am now some other number which, providing I've done everything right, should be higher than the one I've just read out. I said about my last song, I find the passing of time difficult and I love my friends. That is what this video is about. Enjoy. On the 28th of June 2009, Stephen Hawking throws a party. The intended guests of this party, any future civilization that's invented time travel. And much like a lot of parties I've thrown in my lifetime, nobody attends. I believe that the conclusion that we can come to thanks to this is that time travel does not exist. Or this means at least time travel doesn't exist in the way that Hollywood portrays it. I think any performers that are watching will realise that there may be a form of time travel that does exist here and now. Most commonly referred to as flow state, this is a feeling that can happen on stage. Almost like being flung into a room where everyone can see you through the glass walls, except time doesn't move the same. 2 hours can feel like 3 seconds, and 3 seconds can feel like 2 hours. I think about the possibility of that Hollywood-style time travel often as someone who's stopped drinking. And if you've ever had something big happen in your life, you can often feel like you've been split into two people. There was the me that existed before this event happened, and there's the me that exists after. I often think about travelling back in time as if that time is behind some door that if I can claw at it enough or knock it down, that there's maybe some hope I can get back there. But the past is gone, and this can hurt. There's a bigger sense of helplessness in being able to see something or knowing that you've experienced something and the answer's there, but it's behind that door that you can no longer get to. It's a feeling like seeing a cut on your dad's finger in a home video and wondering, how did that happen? Who did that to you? Did you do that to yourself? Was it by accident? I reckon if I asked you now, you wouldn't be able to tell me. But it was there, it was on your finger, I can see it in the home video as you're cutting each member of our family a slice of cake. I've made peace with the fact that my childhood is dead. But time is like a freight train that you cannot stop or get off of. This often feels like a constant battle with grieving the past. I'm fine with my childhood being gone, but the years I lost in the pandemic, I often wonder if I went back to 2018 whether I'd explode. There is a quote by David Foster Wallace that says, "You will stop caring about what other people think of you as soon as you realise how seldom they do." This perplexes me somewhat. I guess I understand what he means with regards to social anxiety and caring about what other people think of you in that way. But I think about people all of the time. I think about the people I know. I think about the people I used to know. I think about the people who used to know me. I think about the people I love. I think about the people I used to love. I think about the people I hate. I think about the people that hate me. Now, if you were to say that I'm thinking about these people through a purely solipsistic lens, I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with you, but I think about people nonetheless. I think and wonder about when the last time that friend listened to Maps by the Front Bottoms. I think about that friend who once gave me 10 Swiss francs that now lives on my bedroom wall, and whether she's ever needed that to pay for something. I think about whether the guy who beat me up on crack cocaine at the age of 18 ever got sober. I think about the one friend and the endless kindness he's shown me, and whether or not, at this moment, literally this moment, whether or not he's out looking for his cat. I also think about these friends and time. I think about travelling back in time to before they met me, watching over them in the hopes that it would give me some context to who they were before they met me and who they would eventually become. It cannot be an anomaly to think about people this much. And it's also perhaps a sin to not let these people know how often they are welcomed into the living room of my brain in order to have a nice cup of tea. I think we live in such an individualistic society nowadays, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, that it's become maybe shameful or embarrassing to let people know that you love them or that you're thinking about them. And while I'd rather go to a concert on my own than not at all, it sucks. We can pretend like it doesn't, but I'd rather be stood there singing arm in arm with a friend than stood on my own being insecure, wondering when the guy behind me is going to ask me if he can go in front of me because he can't see because of my And the more I begin to share my life online in the pursuit of ears for my music, I find myself sharing less and less time in the real world with the people I love. None of this is new. I don't think I'm breaking any new ground, but maybe this is your chance, this is your reminder to maybe text that person that you haven't seen in a while. Make up with that friend that you hurt or they hurt you. Yeah, I don't know. I never really finished writing this part. I
love you. It'll pass.
Life is, in and of itself, a lonely experience. No one will ever know what it's like to look at the world through your eyes, or experience it the way that you do. You are also stuck with yourself until you expire. You have got to make life a nice experience. You should be able to sit still and have respect for the quiet of it all. You shouldn't have to suppress this by drinking, by using the internet excessively, by supplementing connection. We all have our quick and easy fixes in order to make life lighter, whether that's drink or drugs, self-harm. Going through this alone and keeping it to yourself at the beginning can be a way to help escape this. It can be a personal way of dealing with personal problems. But unfortunately, although this shit only affects you at first, it will eventually rub off on the people around you. There are healthier ways to cope with the quiet of it all, obviously, whether that's through exercise, therapy, or talking to friends. These can be hard, and of course, I'm no saint. I still have my vices on top of trying not to drink every day, but I think it's still important to try. And if you'd give me the privilege of just 2 more minutes, I'd love to try and come to some sort of a... Look, I understand all of this is a bit pretentious, but if you or someone you know is dealing with anything, addiction, self-harm, the infinite sadness, time moves on. They say nothing changes if nothing changes. That's not always true. Time is a freight train that you cannot stop or get off of. This can be saddening, but this can also be your greatest tool. time's doing the moving forward. You don't have to do any of that. You just have to concentrate on what's at your feet. One day at a time.